Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and I just got another issue of the LEGO Ninjago Magazine. Or I guess I didn't just get it, it actually came in quite a few days ago, but I've just been on the Dragons Rising train, so I wasn't really thinking about this. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, every month I cover the latest LEGO Ninjago Magazine, and this month's issue comes with a crystallized Golden Zane minifigure. You can see at the top it says, Epic LEGO Toy, Zane plus Ice Scythe. Definitely not the most exciting minifigures ever come with, however, I'll take a look at the actual minifigure at the end of this video. For now, I'm actually going to remove the poly bag that has the minifigure in it so you can see the full cover of the magazine. And there we go, there's the magazine with the poly bag removed. You can see it says LEGO Toy, Golden Zane, super cool and super strong. Very true, actually, very true. We have Robot Rage, can the ninja defeat evil mechs? I guess that might be the comic for this month. Surrounded, will you save Lloyd? Here's an advertisement for an awesome comic where it looks like Kai has the nunchucks of lightning and Cole has the shurikens of ice. Weird, but okay. And then also Jet versus Dragon, who wins? Now this is still a crystallized magazine. I'm curious if we're going to get any Dragons Rising stuff in here at all. Because yeah, I am fully over crystallized at this point. I'm fully on the Dragons Rising train. I don't really need to see more crystallized stuff, but we'll see. Let's get this thing open. Let's see what's actually inside. The first page has an advertisement for LEGO City. Okay, cool. And then of course you have the table of contents right here, but then turning to the next page, here we have the bio page on the Zane minifigure that comes in this magazine. When the Ice Ninja is in his golden armor, anything is possible. Put your toy together and check out just how cool it is. The kids all get an ice cream, but the villains can only dream. He's got great armor, the suit is a match for crystal beasts, a cool katana, whoever forged this massive thing is worth their weight in gold. I mean, it just looks like a normal katana to me, but alright. There's a mighty spear, the blade is made of the frostiest ice from the Ninjago world. That's pretty cool. Then we have some info on what Zane actually didn't crystallize down here. Oh, this is interesting. It's a maze, but it's like the mazes in Pokemon games when you're in the villain's base and they have the arrows that make you go a certain direction. That's actually a lot of fun. Cool way to mix things up. I feel like that's more complex than normal mazes they usually do. And it looks like you have to collect all the different parts of Zane's weapon. Then of course we have the instructions to build the figure down there. But now let's turn to the next page. And here we have some spoiled speedsters. Okay, and this is just a series of very basic games. This one you have to figure out which one's going which spot right here. This one you have to arrange these to make a picture of Cole's vehicle. This one you have to find the difference between these two J-bikes, like for example there's a cookie right there. And then finally you have to complete the pattern in each of these lines. These pages are cute, but there's not a ton to them. Then turning to the next page, here we have Hazy Vision, and oh boy, what's going on here? All these crystals are making Garmadon dizzy. He's getting the ninja and Master Wu all mixed up. Sort out the facial chaos by identifying the three heroes that make up each bundled face. I always like these because it's just funny to look at the graphics they created for it. So here we have, Jay's hood, Lloyd's eyes, and Zane's face. This one's Cole's hood, Kai's eyes, and Wu's wrinkles? Is that what that is? This one is Nia's hood, Jay's freckles, and Wu's eyes. This one is Zane's eyes, Nia's mole, and Lloyd's hood. This one is Wu's beard and hat. Jay's freckles again, as well as Cole's eyes. And then this one's Nia's eyes, Kai's scar and band-aid, and Zane's hood. I guess they had to do Jay twice because Cole doesn't have any features besides his eyes. That's very funny to see all of those, though. Here we have Bike Upgrade, which looks to be the coloring page for this magazine. And I guess what you're meant to do is color in the different parts of Jay's Golden Dragon motorbike, make it look however you want, and then draw your own wheels for it, as well as any other upgrades. That's a fun idea, but they're definitely running out of ideas for crystallized themed coloring pages. But now let's turn to the next page, and here we are at the comic. So as always, I will not be reading the entire comic to you guys, however, feel free to pause the video and read it for yourself. I will be showing you every single page, but if I notice anything especially funny or interesting, I will stop the video and point it out to you guys. So this month's magazine is called Rough Repairs, and it takes place during the reconstruction of the monastery after crystallized. Interesting. Okay, so they're headed down to the workshop under the monastery, and they're looking at all the different mechs they don't use anymore. And they're debating what to do with the mechs. Zane suggests giving them to the police, and Pixel's like, no way. And then they mentioned giving them to New Ninja to train them, which may be a kinda hint towards Dragons Rising, because we know Aaron's gonna get a mech eventually and Sora already has a mech. So maybe they're hinting at that here, or maybe it's just a throwaway line of dialogue in a magazine made for kids. Probably that, but anyway, let's start to the next page. Okay, the mechs have come to life and now they're attacking Zane and Pixel, and that's where the break in the comic is. Interesting. Very creative idea for a story. We'll have to see where this goes. Not sure if I'm exactly feeling it yet, but it's a fun concept at the very least. But anyway, yeah, of course, now we're at the break in the comic. Here we have a treasure hunt with Clutch. Okay, and this is just a series of clues that lead you to the treasure. That's actually a lot of fun. I like that. And then we have the posters in the center of the magazine, so let me remove them. Ooh, this one's actually really cool. It's a poster of all the different heroes from Crystallized. We have all the ninja and the dragon forms, Oni Lloyd in the center, as well as Wu and Nia. And this actually looks really cool, and there's no, unnecessary text either. It doesn't say, ninja power or whatever, like it sometimes does. No, it's just a cool render of all the different characters together. That's actually really neat. This is one of their best posters. Now, if I were to critique it, I do have one minor criticism. The Golden Dragon Ninja, as well as Lloyd, are renders from the show. These are how the characters look in the show. But Nia and Wu, these are renders of their mini minifigures, so everything's a little bit different on them. It's a small thing, right? It's very similar, but their rendering style is a little bit different. So I wish it was all consistent, but it's not the biggest deal, because at the very least it is all renders this time around. It's not like it's actual pictures of the minifigures for Nia and Wu. So yeah, honestly, this is a great poster, one of their best in my opinion. Hey, you guys remember how a couple seconds ago I was talking about how sometimes we have unnecessary words in the posters and it says something like ninja power? Well, here's the other poster that says mech power. I honestly don't hate this one, though. This is pretty cool. It is just a screenshot from the show with a filter on it. Don't know if it needed to have a filter on it. Like, it kind of just looks like it's the PixArt filter that kind of makes everything look like a comic book, but not really. Yeah, might have preferred this unfiltered, but it's cool to have a screenshot of the show. It does look cool, and I like the little white effects around the sides. And the words of mech power is at least placed well in the poster. But yeah, I definitely prefer the other side of this. This just looks a lot cooler. Alright, and now back to the magazine. Here we just have an advertisement for the LEGO Minecraft magazine, which I'm going to be honest, really cool magazine. Love that one. I have been collecting it, not been making videos on it, just because the few videos I did make didn't do amazing, but yeah, this one's really good. I highly recommend you guys check it out. But now let's turn to the next page, and of course here we are back to the comic. Uh-oh, the mechs are breaking out. Okay, yeah, that's not a story thing. The ninja do just go to grab their weapons, and Kai grabs nunchucks, and Cole grabs shurikens. I know this is such like a small thing to complain about, but they've never really used those weapons in the show. But yeah, the mechs are going crazy, and the mechs are winning, so the ninja think the only way to beat them is to actually hop in and control them from the cockpit. Okay, and the comic ends with Pixel doing SPINJITZU, and that gets all the ninja back into their mechs. Odd, I never thought Pixel could do SPINJITZU. I know she does it in Season 3, but that was with Zane. She's never done it alone before, so that's a weird thing to establish in this comic. And then yeah, that's where the comic ends. I mean, I think this is a fun standalone story. It definitely feels like they're running out of ideas pre-Dragon's Rising, but post-Crystallized. Hopefully we only have like one more comic pre-Dragon's Rising, though, because I'm excited for when it gets to Dragon's Rising comics. Those are going to be fun. Because yeah, I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what happened in this one. But although that's the end of the comic, that is not the end of the magazine, so here's the next page. We have a victory parade / flight. Okay, this is just an information page about Dragon Form and Crystallized, how the ninja unlocked it, the whole story behind it. That's a fun reminder for Crystallized. Once again, they did get the lyrics to the theme song wrong, because if you don't know, these magazines are translated from German, and it seems like the translations have not been the best as of recent, because this is like the 4th or 5th magazine in the row that says, jump up, step back, spin around, and turn. Instead of course, jump up, kick back, whip around, and spin. I'm actually shocked that issue was still happening. It's a little ridiculous. Anyway, now let's turn to the next page, and here we have Surrounded. Okay, this is what was advertised at the front of the magazine, and it looks like this just has 5 different mini games to tie in with this picture that you see right here. Then turning to the next page, this is like a little dice rolling board game. It's a race between Kai and Zane. These are always fun. I always like when they include these, because there's all these different spaces for your characters to move, and different spots to do different things described up here. I say this in all these videos, but these are the kind of things I know I would have adored as a kid. So it makes me happy to see they're still coming in these kind of magazines. Anyway, now we're at the end of the magazine, and here we have an advertisement for next month's magazine, which is going to come with an Oni Garmadon minifigure. Now that is a fantastic minifigure to get. I'm really looking forward to that one, because that figure only comes in a $120 set, so getting him for significantly cheaper is going to be so nice to see. It also looks like we're getting our first hint of Dragon's Rising content right here. You can see Aaron, Sora, and Lloyd on the cover. However, it seems to mostly still be Crystallized themed, because we have crystal posters, and the comic has the ninja in their Crystallized outfits. But we're finally transitioning into Dragon's Rising, and I'm hoping this is the final Crystallized magazine coming up. And then on the very last page, you have playing cards that you can cut out. These tie in with the playing cards in previous magazines, including last month's magazine. And I always love these. I think they're a lot of fun. But I think that's about it for the actual magazine, so now let's take a look at the minifigure that it comes with. Alright, let's get this poly bag opened up. Here's Golden Zane all built up, and unfortunately my polybag was missing one of the pieces it was supposed to have. You can see there's a trans light blue circular tile on the back of his weapon, and there's supposed to be a second one on the bottom of his weapon. However, my polybag only came with one for some reason. So a little bit disappointing. However, it's a trans light blue circular tile, so I really can't care all too much. The weapon still looks good without it. I always like when the magazines come with a really unique weapon builds, and this is definitely a case of that. He uses like this transparent blade piece on the front, which I believe was originally introduced for LEGO Nexo Knights. However, I know it more as Maze Blade from LEGO Monkey Kid nowadays. But yeah, this is essentially just a giant scythe for Zane, which I think is quite cool. Removing that though, there's a full look at this minifigure, and you can see it's the same Golden Dragon Zane that came in the Crystallized sets, except he doesn't have his hood, unfortunately. That's definitely a little bit disappointing to see, because while Golden Dragon Zane is a more common minifigure, he does come in 2 sets, and one of them's on the cheaper side of things. It still would have been nice to get the full figure here, because Zane's hair is very common nowadays, so it's not like an exciting thing to get that hairpiece. Instead, I think the hood just would have been a lot better. Still though, that doesn't make this figure bad. It is still a good minifigure all around, and just would have liked to see the hood here. But yeah, I've covered this guy quite a few times before on the channel, but in short, I like the design. The gold and the white I think go great together, and the blue is the perfect splash of color on top of everything. I like how there's a bit of metallic printing for Zane's chest underneath the armor too. That's a fun touch. But my favorite part is definitely how much that blue pops. He uses the 6 and 11 armor piece in gold around his back, And then removing that, there's a full look at his back torso print where you can see he's got a symbol right there, which is just the Ninjago letter Z. So yeah, good minifigure all around. It's nice to have a slightly cheaper way to get him, because previously the cheapest way to get him was, what, $35? But it is very unfortunate that this is an incomplete figure, because it just makes it all a little less exciting. But overall, what are my thoughts on this magazine? I think this magazine's alright. There's nothing especially bad about it, but I feel like they're just running out of ideas for crystallized stuff. They've done all the games so many times, they've already included so many of the minifigures. So as such, I'd say this is a very easy magazine to pass up on. The highlight to me was actually the posters. I thought the posters were actually really good this time around. And the comic is, at the very least, fun. It's just not the most interesting plot, in my opinion. The games are as good as they've always been. Like, I think they're super fun for kids, but for older collectors who are mainly just buying for the minifigure, the comic, and maybe the posters, the games are obviously not that interesting. So if you don't have a Golden Zane yet, and you don't mind not having his hood piece, I guess this is a fine one to pick up. But in my opinion, especially compared to some of the previous magazines, this is a very easy one to skip out on. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this magazine in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!